I mean, if you scroll through social media, New York Jets fans are absolutely. I mean, it
They
like
were pissed. They were
it broke
shocked. They were
their
like,
hearts that they let go of this guy for practically nothing, and plus he just restructured his contract with us. So I mean, I it's
27.
insane. Yeah, no, it really is insane, and we're not trying to gas up the trade because he's going to the Broncos. We really do mean it. Like this guy's a ball. Like this guy's a ball player. He's a baller.
Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Amir Farrell, with my co-hosts J Mac and Jordan Lopez. We got a big episode today. The Denver Broncos have officially completed their 2024 NFL draft class. They already got ways. I believe they signed 7 to 8 already undrafted free agents. I'm super excited to talk about all the Broncos' new draft picks. They drafted 7 total players. They made a few trades today, actually, on the last day of the draft. Going to recap days 1, 2, and 3. Very exciting draft. Obviously, the Broncos' new franchise quarterback in town. Some really good positional value as well. But J-Mac, Jordan, how are you guys feeling after the draft?
man, this is one of the most exciting drafts I think I can go back to remember as a Bronco fan. I mean, everything was answered for me. It just seemed like we were on the clock. I wanted a guy. Sean Payton went and got him. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't had that as a Bronco fan. George Payton used to do some off the wall stuff. Guys, you're like, come on, man. Like, why couldn't you just take him? But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. You could tell the draft is because it's looking way better with Sean Payton at the helm, man. I can't be more glad to have him as our head coach. I mean, this is one of the first times I actually got text messages saying, "Man, you guys did a smart thing today." I never get those about the Broncos. So, I mean, it was a good day, especially the trade up. I mean, today was just a really good day, man. Overall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of with J-Mac. Like, they drafted players like we wanted them to draft, which is very, very rare. And usually we can get a bit unrealistic with the things we want them to draft just because that's like the nature of us. We always want like the best players, but I mean, I give a lot of credit. They went up and traded up to get one of our guys. I mean, they had a really good draft class, at least on paper. And I know it's going to work out on the field, but on paper, this is the first time in a while that I'm pretty confident in this draft class.
Yeah, I came away from the draft like for once in a while. It just feels different, man. Like every pick, it just felt different. Like it felt like a lot of these picks are very like logical and like we're getting really, really, really good value. Some of the picks reminded me as well, like from 2021, where George Payton actually had a solid class for the most part. So let's talk about most of these. Let's talk about these draft picks. Starting off with the first one, we already live streamed it and talked a little bit about it. But if you guys missed that live stream, the Denver Broncos selected Oregon quarterback Bo Nix with the 12th overall pick in the NFL draft. What are your guys' thoughts and reactions to the Broncos adding their new franchise quarterback to the team?
I mean, everybody knows my reaction to it. I love it. I feel like this is the perfect fit for us. And I feel like, man, with a lot of people, I went back and kind of saw a lot of the analyst reactions to it and stuff. People who, are on TV, and it's kind of the same thing. People are skeptical. People saying we should have traded back, and they don't know what the hell Sean Payton is doing and stuff like that. And I mean, I just love all of that because, hey, man, that's what happens. A lot of people, they just tend to look at, man, well, he was a 36 guy, man. I had him ranked 40 on my board and took him at 12. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, I love all of that because hey, man, the Broncos are flying under the radar right now. Bo Nix is flying under the radar, and he was taken 12th overall. People can say all they want to about him being a 6th quarterback taken off the board. I don't really care about that. I'm happy with it. I like the fit. I'm not going to lie. This is the first time I've actually been, I don't want to say like I feel like I'm actually just happy to go into the season. Like I feel like I don't feel like it's any pressure. I feel like we can just go out there and play this year.
Yeah, sort of kind of like what the Texans were this last year, right? They didn't really have any pressure on them, even though they had CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. But they had expectations of, all right, this is like a building block. But
Exactly.
hey, I can easily seeing us have a Houston Texans type year, especially with Bo Nix and the pieces we got. But yeah, the Bo Nix pick, everyone should know my reaction to it already. I think we got our guy. It was nice to know and hear after the fact that Sean Payton had him as like the third best quarterback in his board, and obviously that was the best fit for him. He said personally on the McAfee show, so he was glad that he got our guy. I'm happy with it. Broncos country should be happy with it. All the metrics, like everything metric wise, advanced wise, like everything just checks out in favor of Denver and what Sean Payton wants as a quarterback. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, you can make the argument out of all the quarterbacks. This quarterback got the absolute most perfect fit, like schematically, of the landing spots out of all these guys. What are your guys' thoughts on the clip going around with Sean Payton saying that he basically baited the Vikings into moving up for JJ McCarthy? I know we reacted to a little bit in the stream, but it's making rounds on Twitter and Instagram right now with the meme pages, and everybody's saying that Sean Payton's bluffing and that it's an absolute joke if he had Bo Nix over Drake May on his board and all that. What do you guys think about all that?
I mean, I'm not really surprised. It's kind of funny to see them kind of joke about it, but I kind of had a feeling that this was the case, that he was trying to bait teams to trade up to JJ to kind of get all the eyes off of Bo Nix. And I mean, hey, it worked because I don't think anybody had Bo Nix as high as the Broncos did. I don't think anybody really invested as much time in the Bo Nix as the Broncos did. And I think that's because of the JJ McCarthy and the Drake May hype. But especially the JJ hype, because a lot of teams started really looking at JJ. The Giants, the Vikings, the Patriots even. I mean, you saw a lot of these teams starting to invest all of it into Drake May, and it was really the Broncos were like the first team to really say that they had serious interest in getting him when they said that when reports came out that we were going to target him at 12, and then you just saw his draft stock rise and a lot of more teams get interested in him. So, I mean, it's really kind of funny to see that. I mean, hey, if that was the plan, which I think it was, I mean, look, it worked, and I kind of feel bad for the Vikings because the Broncos had no plans of trading up to 10, and they kind of just wasted a whole bunch of draft capital. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, Sean Payne, I can guarantee you he wasn't the first one to do that, and he's not going to be the last. So I know a lot of people, of course, took their shots, especially because it's Sean Payne, but this has been a thing for a while now. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. I think we've even mentioned this months and months ago that, I mean, all these, like all the noise and all the rumors of JJ to Denver and any other quarterback going to Denver is just all smokescreen because our guy is really Bo Nix. And we're here now, April 27th after the draft, and Bo Nix was our guy all along, and it was just smokescreens. He just wanted his guy, and now we're here.
Yeah, everyone can say what they want, but at the end of the day, the Raiders are sitting right behind us. And when Penix went to 8 at Atlanta, the Raiders could have the Raiders are right behind us, and that played in the whole situation. Like they could have easily taken Bo Nix if something happened. Like I don't know, there's a lot to go into it. Ultimately, the Broncos got the quarterback that they wanted. I wholeheartedly, I'm being completely honest about this. I wholeheartedly believe that he is not bluffing at all, that's the guy that he wanted. Just because you look at his confidence in that Pat McAfee interview, the press conference, watch the whole thing, like him listing all these numbers off, like you started mentioning like I remember you mentioned like the middle late, like the end of the first half, the beginning of the third half, like second down, whatever it was, like all those metrics and statistics, and you're sitting here telling me Sean Payton didn't want Bo Nix. Like, are you serious right now? Like at the end of the day, I do think that's absolutely who he wanted. He got him at 12, and we said it all off season. You can call it a reach all you want, but the Broncos got their guy, and look how long after Bo Nix a quarterback went. Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I personally believe if they would have traded back, someone probably would have snagged Bo Nix, to be honest. But let's go ahead and move over to the next selection. I love this. I love this pick. Broncos in round 3, pick 76, selected Utah edge Jonah Elliss. Like I said, with a 76 overall pick. What are your guys' immediate reactions to this one? He's coming off a torn labrum, but he did inform the media that he is fully medically cleared to return for contact.
Yeah, I didn't really know too much about him. And then I went and studied him after the pick because I didn't have him nowhere near our boards. I didn't really think we were gonna take edge. Like at that pick, I thought that pick was gonna be Troy Franklin or somebody else. But I mean, I wasn't mad at it. I went back and watched him, and he's got really good intangibles. I really do like his finesse moves. I like his footwork, and he puts up numbers. And then his dad played for the Broncos, so it kind of seems like another perfect fit. But I'm not mad at it at all. The Broncos needed edge, and they went out and got it. And then you saw they made moves later in the day too. But I really liked it. I mean, because we already knew going into pretty much after free agency that the Broncos weren't going to get a home run guy at at edge, whether it be just later in the offseason or in the draft. We weren't going to get a first-round guy. But I feel like we got the best of what we could with the picks we had. So I'm not mad at it at all. And it's really he's got to go out there and play, and we just got to see what we can get in him. But, I mean, I liked it overall.
Yeah, I like this pick. I mean, I even posted on Twitter. I mean, his pass rush moves are as effective as it gets, and it's married with his quick hands, and he's very, very shifty for the athlete that he is. So I didn't mind the pick at all. I thought it was a very underrated pick if it was anything. Even the guys on the ESPN table said that his competitive toughness is like literally second to none, and even PFF had that mentioned too. So I guess that is a common theme with Jonah Elliss. And another thing that I mentioned was like he has like one of the best first steps in the draft. So he has everything you want any pass rusher and an edge rusher. So listen, I am okay with the pick. I'm fine with the pick, and I would not be surprised if Jonah Elliss does become and develop into one of those pass rushers in the near future, that he can become like our guy.
His NFL spin move is already ready for the NFL. I was talking in a group chat about this yesterday. Some people were talking about he's going to be a rotational edge. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if a lot of people agree with this, but I already think he's tied for like our most talented pass rusher already. I think him and Baron Browning are already neck and neck. This is how highly I think of him. I was debating on taking him in my final mock draft on Monday, but he's been projected like everywhere. Like he was getting like some mid to late second round projections. He was also getting some fourth or fifth round projections because of the injury history and everything. But he's coming off a season with 12 sacks. Like I said, a spin move. J-Mac mentioned his intangibles, his tools are ready to build upon immediately. And honestly, mid-season, I would not be totally shocked if, like, let's say Nick Benito or Jonathan Cooper, whoever it is, isn't generating a ton of pressure. If they just go ahead and give him the keys to the car and say, You're our every down pass rusher, because he's ready health wise. So I like a lot of what I saw in film. He's not necessarily the most explosive guy, but like every down he's gonna bring it like to the end of the whistle every single snap. So that's what I like so much about Jonah Elliss.
Yeah, and one thing that also stood out to me when we go look at his numbers, how much they improved every single year. I mean, his tackles for loss literally jumped from 6 to 16 in a year. In 3 sacks, he went from 3 sacks to 12 sacks. I mean, that's huge. I mean, and he's coming into the league right now. He's only going to get better, and that's just a really good thing about it. And one thing about this edge room, I hate to say it, but he's going to have opportunities because a lot of guys in the room, they have not been able to be consistently healthy. So he's going to have an opportunity to go out there and showcase it.
No, yeah, I agree with everything J-Mac said. I mean, I think I would not be surprised by the very first game, because we do see a lot of snaps of Jonah Elliss in the very first game, and then he continues to build his way up into being that starter.
Question real quick. I forgot. What did they say about Drew Sanders? Is he gonna be moving back to linebacker, or are they?
That's a great. Actually, I forgot to mention that Drew Sanders. They said he was going to edge, but after this pick, man, you got to think that he's staying at linebacker. You got to think that.
I feel like linebacker kind of has to be his spot right now, because I feel like the edge room is crowded enough.
Yeah. Absolutely. Next, the Broncos traded up, made a surprise move in the beginning of day 3 today, and traded up to pick 102 to select Oregon wide receiver Troy Franklin, reuniting him with Bo Nix. Literally now going to be playing 3 straight years together. He was supposed to be a second-round pick. Even Sean Payton mentioned that the whole front office thought he wouldn't even be available at pick 76. But as they watched him fall down the boards a little bit, Des Bryant even shot Sean Payton a text this morning and said, you have to do whatever it takes to go get this guy. And he took his word for it. The front office was on the same page, on the same consensus with Troy Franklin, and they made the move up to trade with the Seattle Seahawks to get Troy Franklin. He has 4.4 speed, reliable hands, can beat virtually any DB vertically. He can also eat up those intermediate short yardage routes, which is literally just, I mean, the whole thing with them, like, joining the Broncos is the chemistry that's already pre-built with Bo Nix. You look at, I know so many people are mentioning this, but it's a good point. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. They literally the next year, they come into Cincy immediately right away. Just the chemistry is already there. You don't even have to work on anything in the offseason. Like Jamar Chase had some issues with his hands, but once he got that fixed, man, they are easily a top 3 receiver duo, wide receiver quarterback duo in the NFL. I honestly would not be surprised if Troy Franklin is up there for like offensive rookie of the year voting just because of this already pre-built chemistry with Bo Nix. What are your guys' thoughts on this pick?
I loved it. This is a guy that I wanted us to take him in the third round. I cannot believe he kept falling. I'm not gonna lie. It was like one of those things where you're like, bro, is he actually gonna keep when I knew at pick 17 we didn't take him, I'm like, man, he's gonna get taken before we can ever pick again. And he just kept falling. I'm like, oh, bad. Yeah, I saw the Broncos trade up. We got him. I love it, man. I feel like this is a move I really wanted. His jump from his second year to his third year needs to be talked about more. He had 20 more receptions. He went from around 900 yards to nearly 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns to 14 touchdowns. I mean, the dude, him and Bo Nix, man. Like you said, they ain't got to work on nothing. Everything is going to be routine with these guys. He's going to be his go-to guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean finds a way to make him wide. He's going to probably start. By the time the season starts, he's going to probably start. You could just tell. Like, it's guys that get drafted, you could tell, like, this guy might pan out. Like, you can just – the fit is perfect. He has that mentality, that attitude. Like, man, all y'all guys passed up on me, say less. And a shout out to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant probably gave him that kick, you know, that little boost, that little motivation. Like, hey, Sean, don't BS around and be like, wow, I can't believe he fell and I'll make a move. You see him keep falling, go get him. And I mean, hey, look, a lot of former Bronco players love the pick as well too. I saw Chris Harris Jr. tweet about it and TJ Ward. I'm loving this pick. And this, so me and Jordan was kind of going back and forth about he wanted Javon Baker, I wanted Troy Franklin. Hey, I'm just glad we ended up with one of them, bro.
No, yeah, that was ultimately my thing. Like, I'm a wide receiver guy, so I was begging for this draft. Like, either we got Javon Baker or we got Troy Franklin, one of the two. And I'm glad we got one of the two. And let me tell you, I mean, I'm in love with this Troy Franklin kid. I think he's going to be a stud with Bo Nix and Sean Payton. I mean, I tweeted about it. 6'2". He has a 39-inch vert, which is way above average. Ran a 4.41, like Amir said. PFF gave him a 99 grade for a single coverage. I mean, the guy has the ability for yards after the catch. I mean, his footwork is as impressive as it comes, and it meshes really good with his release off the line of scrimmage. His hands are extremely well. He drops no passes at all. People do say that he can't run all the routes, but I don't think that's true at all because in Oregon, he was beating so many people off the line of scrimmage that
his release is
really like it's not due to a lack of ability. I can tell you that for a fact. So, I mean, but between the consistent hands, his long vertical speed, his releases, his footwork, his change of direction, his competitive touch. I mean, he's a willing blocker. He's not consistent at it yet. But with the proper coaching that he's going to get in Denver, he can become one. Once he puts on a little bit more weight, he for sure will become one. And I saw one of the player comps that I saw on social media. I think it was by PFF too, that they put Christian Watson. And listen, that's not a bad player comp because Christian Watson is a hell of a player. But if I'm being completely honest, I think he'd be even better than Christian Watson.
Yeah, for sure, especially with the hands too, because Christian Watson struggled with that his rookie year. But anybody, look, Christian Watson's a dog. I mean, I'm gonna just say that in terms of like all his skill set, the speed, the quickness off the line, it's not really too many DBs that can keep up with him in the league. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that comp is pretty good, but I don't think Troy Franklin's gonna have a problem with his hands like Christian Watson did, which makes him even better.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't understand the argument against this pick. I've seen a little bit of Twitter was mad about it. He did everything that he was asked to do super well at Oregon. The people are mad about what he didn't do, more so than being happy about what he did do. Like it's always the what if with these prospects. I honestly like, dude, bro had 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, 8 100-yard games. Guess what? Those are all single season receiving records at Oregon. Like, how the fuck could you be mad about this pick? I'm just being honest. So I don't see how anybody could be mad about this pick. I know we gave up a little bit of a hefty price to get him with Seattle. They stay, kind of getting the best of us in trades. But I will say this. Round 6 and 7 were pretty weak in terms of like depth this year in the draft. So I will say that. Next, the Broncos in round 5 at pick 145 selected Mizzou cornerback Kris Abrams-Draine. Once again another pick where I sit here and say great value. I mean, great route recognition corner. They mentioned on the broadcast, I believe it was Matt Miller. He said that this is probably the best like route recognition corner in the draft. Elite ball skills, high instincts. He was projected to be like a top 115 pick, and the Broncos got him 30 picks later than that, like almost a whole round later. This is just, once again, another great pick. It does not remind me at all of like past corners that we've taken. He just seems like he's a glue and stick type corner in zone coverage.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. CBS analysts, they had him ranked as the 32nd best player in the draft. I don't know how he fell that far. And you can go back and watch. I think it was a Senior Bowl. I could be wrong, but I think I think it was a Senior Bowl. His 1v1 reps are absolutely incredible. This dude, I don't know how he fell. Again, just every draft we got the guy, there's always guys who fall, but I'm glad we got 2 of them because I don't know how this guy fell. And hey, man, I love the pick. I mean, he speaks for himself. I think this is like a really underrated pick because a lot of people, I think Riley Moss will start, but I think this guy is probably going to end up being better than Levi Wallace, and he's going to end up taking whatever role he was supposed to have on his team. But I could definitely see this guy being a starting like outside corner next to PS2 with the season starting, like beating out Riley Moss. That's just me. I see that happening because this. Again, I don't know how he fell this far. This dude was supposed to be going late second, early third round.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, if we were to do like an early depth chart of that corner, I think right now he for sure jumps to Damari Mathis, and he's in that cornerback 3, cornerback 2 conversation, 100%.
Yep.
But I think the reason why he was dropping a bit, because I was hearing a little bit on the broadcast, he is a bit undersized for the position, but I mean, you could be undersized all you want. He does have that heart and that dog in him, as they say now. So, but yeah, I think this is a good value for Denver. Surprised, like how you guys said, he did drop this much, but I would say the guy's agility and change of direction, even though 2 guys on social media told me otherwise, his change of direction and agility is off the charts. I mean, the guy is an athletic freak. So I like this pick a lot. Again, another player that don't know how just fell right into Denver's lap, but here we are. We will for sure take it. And again, this is another player that in the future years we'll be talking about, like, damn, we got him at pick 145. And he's going to be one of not our cornerstone guys, but he's for sure going to be one of the pillars of that defense.
Yeah, those Mizzou DBs are like running off the boards too. Like recent drafts are seeming to pan out pretty well. But next, the Broncos 2 picks later at 147 selected Notre Dame running back Audric Estime. Probably the most powerful running back in the entire NFL draft. Nothing, not too shabby. It's take the most powerful damn running back in the draft. His vision though really stands out to me. I mean, I was watching some of his tape. The way he utilizes his blocks, it's literally teach tape. Very physical running back after contact. Just an athletic all-around player. He's not like the tallest guy by any means, but he's basically like Hulk as a running back, just running straight through your face. I believe he had like a tweet where he said something about how he's ready to like prove everybody wrong or something along those lines. It got me pretty hyped. I'm really excited for this pick. And I have to say, I was talking to someone a little bit about this before the season. There's a specific running back in the room right now. I wouldn't say who a lot of people think is pretty safe, who's not as safe as the fans think they are. I'm gonna say that now.
P. Ryan. But I'm not gonna lie. This pick, it caught me off guard. I did not expect this to take a running back by any means necessary until I just didn't think it happened. I thought we were pretty good in that room. This guy's a tank. Look at his stats, bro. This dude, they fed him the ball in Notre Dame. He was the bell cow back. Like they relied on him for pretty much everything. 18 touchdowns, 1,300 yards as a running back, 210 carries, bro. The game against Stanford, he had 25 carries. He had 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaged nearly 10 yards a carry. In multiple games, he had multiple games with 2 touchdowns or more. The guy's a tank, and he's only 20. That's my thing. Like the dude is only 20 years old. And running back usually trying to kind of fade out once they get to that 28 mark. He is 20 years old. And I don't know how we got. I mean, yeah, people are going to say he's a little short. He's 5'11", 227. Bro, that's almost a 6 foot. I'm not saying that, bro, the dude he's going to be hard to tackle, bro. Like if people think Javonte's hard to tackle, this dude right here, open field. You get him an open field. Now people said, well, he didn't, he wasn't as fast. I mean, it is what it is. Not every guy's gonna be perfect at his size. Nobody's gonna be blazing. His 40 time was a little slow, but I feel like he can get in better shape just a little bit, and it doesn't really matter. Because I'm not gonna lie, if this guy's our goal line back, it's easy touchdowns. Ain't nobody stopping that.
It's basically another Javonte. It's probably even more of a powerful Javonte, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I don't know. I know we judge the PFF grading system a lot, but he was the highest grading running back for the whole college football season among Power 5 running backs with a 94. And God. I don't know if you guys have did a deep dive into this, but he forced 64 missed tackles. 64 is a video game number. Like, you do that on Madden. I'm like, looking into the statistics of this kid, it's quite remarkable. Right now, our running back room is power with Javonte. I don't know what to call this kid, because if Javonte's power, I don't know any other adjectives to call this kid. And then we have a change of direction, shiftiness with Jaleel McLaughlin. And then as of right now, I don't know personally what Samaje Perine's stance and position is right now in Denver. I don't know what they have for his vision for the future of this team. But again, this was a very, very sneaky pick for Denver. I mean, he could turn out to be really good. And Matt Miller on ESPN said that this guy could easily become a starting caliber running back as soon as his sophomore year in the NFL. I mean, that's how good he is. And man, he had a perfect 100 grade in zone running and then 90 with yards after contact. I mean, it's insane with the amount of power we have in that running back room right now.
Dude, and his footwork as well. It's like, it makes it look like he's Jaleel McLaughlin's feet with on a big ass running back. And I'm telling you guys right now, you guys mentioned Samaje. Telling you now, we saved the most money by moving on from after training camp. And also the Broncos just signed Blake Watson, an extremely talented running back out of Memphis. They're gearing up for some kind of departure in that room. Well, I will say, though, this training camp's about to be so fucking fun to watch for the running back room. Dude, Jaleel McLaughlin, Javonte, fucking Audric Estime. Dude, there's so many bodies in that room. Like, it's about to be a damn competition. It's about to be
I want to watch
so fun
Estime. I want to watch Estime in preseason run through somebody's face in a preseason game.
You know what the scary thing about him, though, is, low-key? He's only 20 years old. He can still get taller. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like, he may not even be done growing yet. He's so young. He's 20. Like,
he's gonna hit a growth spurt before the bye week,
bro. Like, I could literally see one of those things where they say this dude grew to 6'1" by the time Cam Bros was around, and that's like fucking. I mean, because I'm not gonna say the type of backs like him. I'm gonna be honest. Derrick Henry didn't necessarily hit the ground running when he first came into the league. It took him about a year to. He's not as tall as Derrick Henry, but you get the point. Any guy like him, like, bro, he may not hit the ground just to running, but give us some time. He's only 20 years old. He's only 20.
I'll be very satisfied if we go into the week 1 of the regular season with our running back room being Javonte, Estime, and Jaleel McLaughlin. I'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be those three, especially the way they used Javonte last year. If you watch, I know a part of this was Russ, but I think Sean Payton liked Javonte's ability to catch the ball, and I feel like he's thinking, man, I could just really use him in that role that Perine was in, kind of, and kind of have him in the other, the three together, kind of split carries a little bit, and the pass catching role can either go to Jaleel or it can go to Javonte. So I'm pretty sure he's looking at that. Like, yeah, I mean. Because if it wasn't for Russ, man, I don't even know what Samaje's role would have been last year.
Exactly. Like that, I feel like a big reason why he brought him here is because of Russ.
Yeah, I mean, this play-action game with Bo Nix and this running game and with Payton is about to be pretty lethal, if you ask me.
And I just want everybody to know, when Derrick Henry got drafted, he was 22, and he didn't hit the ground running. It took him a few years to get into his prime. Like I said, bro was 20 years old.
Next, the Broncos. This is my favorite move of the draft. It's not a player that we drafted. The Broncos traded a 2026 sixth-round pick to the New York Jets for star defensive end John Franklin Myers. How I tweeted this. How the hell did we pull off this move, dude? This is my favorite addition because the dude is just a stud. And the crazy thing about it is they literally extended his contract and cut his like salary. 2 years, $15 million. They would have been having to pay him like $14 million or something this year. But instead, he takes a pay cut to come here. And we didn't even have to give up a pick that isn't going to be till 2 years from now. He had 14.5 sacks over the last 3 seasons, 54 pressures in 4 straight years. Let me repeat that. 54 pressures in 4 straight years. We just got ourselves one of the best defensive ends in the AFC for literally a bag of chips.
You know what's crazy to me? You know, one thing I will say, things in life are so much better when it's free. And I'm not going to lie to you. We got him for basically free. I don't know what the hell happened today. I didn't even know the guy was on the block. I mean, you figure as much though, but I'm like, he's not even the edge. And like, I don't think they really stacked up on the interior, but that's the Jets, man. I'm gonna leave the Jets do what they want to do. A 6th-round pick and paying them the money that we're going to pay him per year. I'm fine with it. It's exactly what, hey, look, I told somebody in your comments, Amir, I said, this dude is he's a better version of Matt Hendricks. If y'all was really like, I didn't even say better version, but if y'all was really concerned about Matt Hendrickson starting, don't be worried about it no more. Cause he's a starter coming into camp. Matt Hendrickson, you can go sit down for right now, bro. John Franklin Myers got your spot. And I'm happy with it because, and I will say he's really good at stopping the run too, which is something the Broncos needed help with. And I think he can be just a huge help.
Yeah, I mean, this trade came out of nowhere. No one was even had a rumor. No one had a thought of this, a rumor, nothing. It just, and the funny part was that he was already in the building this morning.
Yeah.
So
he knew
they had this in the works. Just there were no talks of it. So I mean, if you scroll through social media, New York Jets fans are absolutely. I mean,
they were pissed. They were
broke their hearts that they let go of this guy for practically nothing, and plus he just restructured his contract with us. So I mean,
27.
It's insane. Yeah, no, it really is insane, and we're not trying to gas up the trade because he's going to the Broncos. We really do mean it. Like this guy's a ball. Like this guy's a ball player. He's a baller.
Yeah.
Like it's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like this guy can play, and I'm surprised that we got him for that cheap. And our D-line room just got a lot better, and him and Zach Allen are gonna feast now. They're gonna feast.
Yeah, 50. By the way, did not miss a single game last year. 50+ starts over the last 3 years for New York. I mean, the dude stays healthy. How could you dislike this move in any capacity? And like you mentioned, you get him very cheap. He, like J-Mac mentioned, he's 27, doesn't even turn 28 till later this year, as in September. He's basically around the same age as Zach Allen and those guys. Like you literally just picked up like a stud defensive end for absolutely nothing. Sean Payton said they're working on this for like 3 weeks or so. Shout out to them for keeping this quiet and not causing any competition for John Franklin Myers. Next, the Broncos in round 7 at pick 235 selected Utah wide receiver Devaughn Vele, 26 years old. Everybody was kind of upset by how old he is. He does turn 27 in December. Just for like the background, he did go on a 3-year religious mission, so that's why he is so old coming out of college. Everybody's acting like he played 8 years in school. That's not what happened. He did score 8.5 on the relative athletic score scale. So that's pretty high for high athleticism for a player like this in round 7. Not a lot of guys have a RAS score that high. High catch radius, 6'4", 1,200 yards his last 2 years at school. Everybody's comparing him to Tim Patrick right now, who also came out of Utah, who the Broncos signed as an undrafted free agent. So, I mean, it's in the middle of like round 7. I wouldn't say this pick is like a bad one. But I mean, it's literally round 7, so I don't know why anybody would be super mad about this. I was a little bit caught off guard though about the Broncos double dipping at wide receiver.
Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of this pick, but I mean, like you said, it's the 7th round. I thought it was a lot of better guys on the board at the time, but yeah. I mean, I didn't even know about his age. I didn't think to really check his age. You said he's 26?
Correct.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But I mean, like you said, it's the 7th round. I haven't really done too much work on him. But I mean, I looked at his frame. I watched his highlights a little bit. you can kind of see a little bit of similarity between him and Tim Patrick. Like I could see why they may have decided to do this pick, but I feel like it was a lot more value you could have gotten there.
Yep.
That's just me. I feel like this was just maybe he got really close with some of the scouts and stuff like that, and they, I don't know what happened, but I don't know, man. This pick is kind of a head scratcher just a little bit, especially now I'm thinking he's 26. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows I love my wide receivers, but I thought there were much better prospects in that wide receiver pool at the time. And one in particular, I mean, me and J-Mac were talking about it before the show. Taj Washington was sitting right there for Denver. And I thought he was probably going to be the one that's probably even a better fit for us. But I do understand the reasoning for this pick. Sean Payne listed out the many reasons why: his size, his frame, and also even Payne mentioned he has a very similar comparison to a Tim Patrick. So if that's the case, then I'm cool with it. I just thought they could get more value at that position with the Taj Washington, and there were a few more at that wide receiver position at the time, but then they got drafted later on. But listen, if he's a Bronco now, I'm for sure not going to complain. I never complain about my wide receivers. So, but yeah, I'm glad they at least double dipped one way or the other on wide receiver.
And with the final pick in the Denver Broncos 2024 NFL Draft, they selected at pick 256, the one pick before Mr. Irrelevant, they selected South Carolina center Nick Gargiulo. The Broncos are listing him at guard, so they're apparently not going to be having him at center. The Broncos have like a million centers right now with Sam Mustipher, Alex Forsyth, Luke Wattenberg, and I'm sure they're adding more through undrafted free agency. So a lot of competition there with Lloyd Cushenberry signing with the Titans in free agency. This is one is basically an undrafted free agent at this point. This is the pick that actually came from the Jets in the Zach Wilson trade.
Yeah, I wasn't too mad at it. I'm never opposed to offensive line depth. The Broncos see something in them. I just really hope, and I just want to put this out there. Right now, Luke Wattenberg is listed as a starting center for this football team. Let's all pray that Alex Forsyth, somebody can take over the starting spot for Luke Wattenberg. But as far as this pick goes, I like that. I'm never opposed to getting an offensive lineman.
Yeah, don't worry, it'll be Alex Forsyth. But in terms of this pick, listen, the first thing I literally read about him, and this was on PFF, and this is word for word. He had 3 strong seasons at Yale before transferring to South Carolina. And then once he landed in South Carolina, played in the SEC, struggled. And it will give a lot of worry to a lot of NFL teams. So I do not like hearing that. But again, Payne and company sees more than us. So at this point, if you can develop him and he can become a solid backup and a depth guy for us, I don't mind it at all.
He also played tackle, center, guard, so he has the versatility. Maybe that's something that they see that they can build upon and make him kind of like a swing player all across the line. But that's going to be it for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think the last thing we want to go ahead and end off this episode with is what would you grade this entire draft class, J-Mac and Jordan?
I give it an A-. It was really only one pick that I just kind of had a head scratcher about. I liked them all. They got the quarterback I wanted. They got the receiver I wanted, all of that. So, in the later rounds, they took guys, they addressed edge, they addressed corner. I really like what they addressed. So, I gave it an A-. That's pretty, that's as good as it gets.
I give it a 90, 91, so an A-. I think they did a really good job on paper with this team.
Yeah, I could not agree more. A- is perfect. The one thing I will say, though, bit concerned they didn't come away with a tight end after this draft. Greg Dulcich is our starting tight end, and who knows what's going to happen during training camp with his injury history and everything. Then you got Adam Trotman, who's the next guy. You let go of Chris Manhertz and didn't replace him with any kind of blocking tight end. I'm really, really nervous about tight end going into the season. They did just add a few guys in the undrafted free agency, though, but I would have liked to see them grab someone in the mid-rounds.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. I think they would have taken Jaheim Bell, but he went just 3 picks before us.
He went, bro. He fell so far. He
fell to the 7th. He fell all the way down, and the Patriots took him a few picks before us. I think that may have been the pick. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. really concerned. I don't know. Maybe you never know. Maybe a trade gets made, but right now the way it's looking, like you said, Adam Trautman, Greg Dulcich, we never know whether he's going to be healthy. So you can just say we X him out the equation. It's Trautman, Lucas Kroll, and Nate Atkins. Those are the tight ends on the board right now. So,
and let me take the opposite side of this. I'll actually flip this into an optimistic vision for it. They must have gotten some type of intel word from Greg Dulcich that he has to be feeling really good in this offseason. Like his body's getting right.
Yeah.
He's as healthy as he can be. This is what I can at least think of, because we even took a running back when everybody thought we weren't going to take a running back at least. I mean, not taking a tight end at all. This only has to mean good stuff for Greg Dulcich. We saw some flashes from Lucas Kroll, and Adam Trautman is Adam Trautman, but I think this is very good news for Greg Dulcich and his future in Denver. I mean, we all questioned it with his health issues, but it must mean that this offseason has been going really well in terms of his recovery, his rehab, his health in general, and working out. That's what I take out of it.
Hope you guys enjoyed. If you're listening on YouTube, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. All that greatly appreciated. We got more episodes coming up, breaking down more some of these draft picks and what the future is looking like for the Denver Broncos. But with that being said, I'm your host Amir Farrell with my co-host J Mac and Jordan. To the next episode. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.